The story begins with a man named Thomas arriving home only to discover that his sister has been kidnapped. She had sent a letter to their father saying, "If you want to see me alive, come to a remote island and pay for my freedom. If not, they will kill me." Determined to rescue her, Thomas sets out by train, eventually reaching the coast where he must board a boat to the island. Before boarding, he notices his ticket is different from the others, which makes him suspicious. To avoid attention, he cleverly swaps it with another man's ticket. On the boat, Thomas spots the man whose ticket he switched. There's a cross marked on the man's belongings. The next morning, they arrive at the island, and Thomas sees some men dragging that man away. All new arrivals are given an empty bottle. Thomas heads to his room, where he finds a book written by the island's self-proclaimed leader Malcolm. Malcolm describes himself as an angel who was chosen by the island's goddess, and considers himself the father of this place. Most of the islanders are criminals who escaped justice and now live here freely. The next day, Thomas meets a doctor who turns out to be Malcolm's daughter. Later, Thomas sees the same man, whose ticket he swapped, now imprisoned and in poor condition. At the island church, Malcolm tells everyone how he and his companions, who were once convicts, escaped and began a new life here. He praises the island's goddess, who he says saved them, and appointed him as her messenger. He boasts about the island having no taxes, no wars, and complete freedom. While at church, Thomas sees a strange woman outside. Only he seems to notice her until Malcolm sees her too and suspiciously looks at Thomas. Meanwhile, the group realizes the man they captured has no money and deduce that someone else must be hiding among them to save the girl. In frustration, they kill the innocent man. Meanwhile, a girl and boy, children of Malcolm's friends, are in love but keep it secret. The boy is named Jeremy. One night, Thomas observes the new arrivals filling their bottles with blood. Curious, Thomas sneaks near Malcolm's home and sees him entering a secret tunnel. On his way back, he spots Jeremy with the girl, confirming his suspicion about their relationship. Returning to his room, Thomas fills his own bottle with someone else's blood and hangs it outside his door as instructed. He accidentally injures himself, and a few drops of blood fall on the floor. That night, a frightening woman comes and licks the blood. Alarmed, Thomas tears a page from Malcolm's book and uses it to draw a map. Meanwhile, a creepy house in the forest is shown. Malcolm emerges from the tunnel here. A monstrous servant guards this house. The next day, Jeremy thanks Thomas for keeping his relationship secret. Thomas questions him about his sister, and Jeremy finally reveals the truth. A month ago, Malcolm and his men kidnapped Thomas's sister to extort money because the island is struggling. Crops have failed, animals won't breed, and they rely on external supplies. They're desperate and need the ransom money to survive. Thomas convinces Jeremy to help him in exchange for keeping his relationship hidden. Malcolm then announces a gathering at the church, hoping to identify the outsider sent to rescue the girl. Everyone is ordered to memorize Malcolm's book, and during the recitation, before Thomas's turn, someone attacks Malcolm. The man was sent by the king to kill Malcolm. Thomas saves Malcolm but gets injured. Grateful, Malcolm promises loyalty to Thomas. At night, Thomas's sister is brought out publicly and accused of being a spy sent by the king. Malcolm warns that if her accomplice doesn't reveal himself, she'll be executed. Thomas stays hidden despite the threat. The next morning, Thomas's sister is chained, and children mock her until Malcolm's daughter chases them away and offers food to the girl. Malcolm and his allies plan a festival to distract the people while they search homes for the money and the rescuer. That night, during the celebration, Thomas and Jeremy sneak into Malcolm's house, break a wall, and enter the tunnel. Meanwhile, Malcolm finds the map Thomas had drawn and orders Jeremy's father to capture him. When Jeremy's father arrives, he sees Jeremy and realizes his son is helping Thomas. He lets him go, but soon Malcolm and his ally arrive. One of them enters the tunnel to chase Thomas. Malcolm's daughter sees all this unfold. Malcolm rides to the forest's edge while Thomas navigates the blood-filled tunnel and encounters the terrifying woman again. She is the same one who licked his blood. He manages to escape and discovers symbols related to the island's goddess. Malcolm visits the goddess, whom he has imprisoned in the forest house. He confronts her, angry that she appeared to Thomas. He threatens her to stop poisoning the crops or else starve. He cuts his hand and makes her drink his blood, after which the plants start blooming. Meanwhile, Malcolm's servant captures Thomas's sister and hangs her in a sack. Thomas spends the night in the tunnel. In the morning, Malcolm's daughter brings him clothes and offers help. Thomas is confused. Why would the daughter of a man trying to kill him want to help? She defends her father, but Thomas tells her the truth. Malcolm is a cruel man posing as a savior. She believes Thomas and hides him in the poisoned fields where no one goes. Malcolm then visits his friend's house, only to find it abandoned. He rushes to the seashore and sees his friend preparing to flee with his son. Malcolm stops him, saying they built this island together. Meanwhile, Jeremy visits his lover, who tells him she's pregnant. He leaves to fetch something, but her father finds out about the pregnancy, and furious kills her. Jeremy returns to find her dead and attacks her father. The man runs out and falsely accuses Jeremy of the murder, trying to turn the villagers against him. He claims to be the rightful leader, not Malcolm, and urges the guards to purify Jeremy. The guards chase Jeremy, who runs to the poisoned fields for help. Malcolm's daughter tries to protect him, but the guards capture him. Thomas follows to help but is also caught. Jeremy is brought before Malcolm's rival, who orders his execution under the guise of purification. Even Malcolm's daughter fails to stop them. Malcolm and his friend arrive, but Jeremy is already dead. His father weeps, and Malcolm argues with his companion, claiming true leadership. But the friend challenges Malcolm, accusing him of being a false angel and blaming him for the island's misfortunes. To prove his power, Malcolm is ordered to kill Thomas in front of everyone. Malcolm moves forward, but his daughter intervenes. Just as he's about to kill Thomas, Jeremy's father, still alive, shoots and wounds Malcolm. He declares it's time to destroy the goddess and runs into the forest. Thomas frees himself and follows. Malcolm and his ally give chase. In the forest house, Malcolm's monstrous servant kills Jeremy's father. Before dying, he begs Thomas to burn everything down. Thomas sneaks into the house. Malcolm arrives, and when his friend tries to kill the servant, Malcolm stops him. In rage, the friend shoots Malcolm in the shoulder and believes him dead. Inside, Thomas sees the servant forcing the goddess to drink blood. As she drinks, greenery returns. Thomas finds his sister in the sack and frees her, but the servant knocks him unconscious. Malcolm's companion takes Thomas's sister and captures Malcolm's daughter too. Thomas regains consciousness and finds himself tied to a horrifying grinding machine. The servant, a disfigured and monstrous figure, begins the cruel ritual to purify Thomas by slowly feeding him into the grinder. Just when it seems Thomas will be shredded alive, he gathers his strength, breaks free, and attacks the servant. A brutal fight unfolds. Thomas eventually overpowers the monster and kills him using the grinder itself. Badly injured and bleeding, Thomas limps deeper into the house. There he finds the goddess bound in twisted roots, imprisoned and weak. She doesn't speak, but with her eyes she communicates, pleading to be freed. Thomas sets the place on fire, allowing the flames to consume the wooden prison and the cursed roots. The goddess calmly burns with the house, her expression one of peace, as though finally released from centuries of suffering. Outside, Malcolm's power-hungry companion is trying to escape the island with Thomas's sister and Malcolm's daughter. He's now fully unhinged, determined to become the island's new god. But Thomas arrives, beaten and bloodied, and confronts him. A violent struggle ensues. Just when Thomas is about to be killed, Malcolm appears, alive though gravely injured, and together they manage to kill the traitor. Malcolm, Thomas, his sister, and the young woman flee through the burning forest. Malcolm stays behind, knowing his end is near. Thomas and the girls reach the cliffside where a boat waits. Thomas urges them to go, saying he can't escape. The island is part of him now. The two women escape by sea while Thomas collapses in the burning grass, bleeding heavily. Malcolm finds him and kneels beside him. The island's roots begin to wrap around Thomas's hands and body, drawing him in. Malcolm, in awe, realizes that the island has chosen Thomas as its new guardian. As Thomas lies there, his eyes fill with pain and wonder.